These video games.
Video games, maybe it's good for kids. We don't know of these video games.
Welcome to the Snootyghost podcast.
This is where we begin our haunting.
Snooty, Snooties.
You know what's liable to happen if we see a ghost tonight?
Mushrooms, banana peels, turtle shells.
Same great game.
Two-player fun on the split screen. Never high in the history of video games.
So if you don't upload it, then this is episode 5.
Oh shit, it didn't take us long for this to happen, damn it! Hey everybody! Welcome to... I hate how I say hey everybody all the time, it's so pathetic.
Hey, one person that listens!
Oh, is that more pathetic? I took it from like a self-reflection where I felt pathetic saying that, but then you just made me feel actually pathetic by saying no one listens to our podcast.
Episode 5!
Episode 5!
Of the Snootyghost
or
podcast.
6. Maybe 6. I don't know why I think it... No, it's...
5.5!
No, it's 5. Turn down. You're talking real loud.
Sorry.
Loud talk.
I was bringing the enthusiasm.
Snooty's getting excited. So here we are, episode 5 then. Maybe 6. 5.
5.5.
But that doesn't help though. Because then...
5 alpha. Wait, no, it's beta. Final product. Anyway. How are you?
Anyways,
today?
not a good segue.
Anyways, not
this
a good segue.
podcast, it's not starting. It's not starting.
It's not snooty.
It's not. I'm Binary Ghost. You're Snooty Skavoovie.
And we're back.
Yeah, we're back. We say that every time too. Damn it.
Well, next
we are
time.
back though. So
Yeah.
we're front.
We tell the truth every time.
We do every time, and that's why we're going to heaven.
Yeah.
Christian heaven.
Whoa.
None of those other weird heavens. A bunch of inexperienced women around.
Wait, what?
I don't know. The 72 virgins.
Oh!
I don't know.
Very inexperienced, yes.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're super experienced. Maybe they give great blowjobs.
Handies all day.
That's the thing, though. Would you really? Why does people want virgins? Why does people want virgins?
Because they want to be the first one to penetrate that barrier.
That's so fucked up. It's like, what the fuck's the matter with you? I don't want to be a girl's first time. I don't want her remembering me and shit.
It'd be like all awkward and
calling
like...
me up in her mid-30s, like, oh, I remember you.
Oh, man.
Or would she do that? I don't know. Do people do that?
I know my first girlfriend still tries to talk to me. I try and...
What, the family reunions? Boom!
Wah, wah.
Yeah, alright.
Anyway, we got a few things to talk about on the
that
podcast
are
today.
gaming related, believe it or not. Check us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I know that you had some opinions on, there was a new trailer.
Opinions for things.
A new trailer that came out.
Yes.
Would you like to discuss?
Yes, I would, because you can't discuss it because you haven't friggin' played Fallout. Well, I had Fallout
Hey,
for
I
like
played
8 minutes. I played it for 4 minutes.
4 minutes of garbage. I'm just kidding.
Wow, dude, we just lost that listener right there. He just fucking clicked it off and said, you know what, these guys are fucking talking shit right now. Yeah, Fallout 76. I almost said Fallout
Not
4.
the 76th game.
No, we're far away from that. But it's Fallout 76, Vault 76, whatever. And yeah, I had some shit to say about it. But I mean, first off, let's talk about it. It's an MMO, massive multiplayer online bullshit, like Elder Scrolls, which was like all online. So it's not like the other Fallout games where you're going around with solo. You're playing like online with other people and doing like Fallout stuff, but with other people.
But why is that bad? Because instead of NPCs, you just
it's
have
not
real
bad.
people.
It's not bad. What I was pissed off about, what I didn't like, was the goddamn trailer. It's like 2 minutes of just cutscenes. They don't show you gameplay or nothing like that. And then I was like thinking, this is where I was like, oh, we should talk about this on the podcast. I don't think a cinematic trailer is worth anybody's time.
Yeah, because they
Like,
call
it annoys
teaser
me.
trailers, but it's more of like, do you really want to be teased like that?
Like, I don't care about the story. Show me the gameplay, right? Show me, like, something new. Like, I don't care that it's, like, Vault 76 now. It's, like, the backdrop for the story, but it's not, like, oh, I can't believe the settings in this. Like, how good is that going to be if the game is actually shit?
Yeah,
You know what
especially,
I mean?
like,
So-
maybe if it was something... Because you know how the Vegas, or New Vegas...
Yeah.
That was, like, a different setting, so it kind of would make more sense for, like, a teaser trailer to, like, show that more, but this one didn't really show anything
No, it's
new.
just like, oh, it's a new vault. Like, yeah, it's been a new vault every time. Like, it was like Vault 101 or Vault 111. I don't fucking know. But
I
either way,
think it
they've
was
gone with
111.
that theme. That's how they start every new Fallout, is a different vault opening up at a different time and into the wasteland.
And
so.
it's not really anything new as far as a teaser trailer would show.
Apparently, this one is like the prequel. These are the first people that opened the vault. They were scheduled to open the vault 20 years after the bomb goes off. So these are like the first people.
So does that mean to be like way more radioactive out there than in the other Fallout games?
Yeah,
right?
like I would think that, like the Raiders, the Wasteland Raiders, and other groups, they wouldn't be as developed or as formulated, like
as deformed looking, because it would take time for that to happen. Right?
And deformed also. But I was saying like they haven't like formed their big groups and.
Oh yeah. Everyone's it's more chaos.
Like, would there be mutants yet? I don't know. They haven't been like thousands or whatever, 100 years or whatever it was, a couple hundred years to, I don't know, evolve. I don't know what the hell.
Maybe there's like buildings that aren't as ravaged yet, and like you have the first people like fight over like the resources or something. That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. Yeah. So, anyways, new Fallout 76 trailer 7. I don't know. What is it? Vault 76. I don't know if it's called Fallout Vault 76 or just Fallout 76 or I don't know. But yeah, so that trailer is available, and you can go watch it. You're not going to see anything with the game. You're going to see some dumbass cinematics in the vault. Like it's not even worth watching. Like I can't stand it when they do that. I wish they would just show. Like I don't mind it when they show it if they show gameplay also, but just showing a cinematic trailer is like it's. I don't know.
It did have what song was that was playing in the trailer? It was a good one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Country Road, take me home. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good music supervision. That's what that job's called, music supervision.
So, based on the fact that it's Fallout, you probably gonna buy it just because you really like Fallout? No.
No, I don't fuck with those MMOs bullshit, man.
You don't want to have to deal with other people online?
No, I don't know. I do that all the time. I shoot them in the face. But
yeah.
The Elder Scrolls Online wasn't a great experience. It's like laggy. It's like it ruins it all. Because, okay, so when you play Elder Scrolls or those types of games, the world around you acts pretty normal for the most part, right? So like all the NPCs, everybody just walks around like it's easy to like kind of get lost into the world, into the ambience of it. But when you play these games online, you have the backdrop, but then you have some guy teabagging. Then you have like a guy teabagging a dragon.
Takes you out of that, yeah.
And it's like all these people running into walls and lagging across the screen. It's like, oh shit, you just instantly realize exactly what you're doing. It's hard to get into like the space. So I suspect Fallout 76 is going to be more of the same.
Yeah, that's an interesting point about online RPGs. Like, I would be hard to be as immersed in it opposed to an offline one if that kind of stuff is happening.
Well, because well, I mean, that's just my experience, right? It's good to hear, that other people might feel the same about it, but I know people like that sort of thing. Like some people like that, like that's part of it. Like my mom and my stepdad, they're big gamers, and they're actually really looking forward to the release of this game for that reason, because they like to play online. I mean, like I get it.
Yeah.
But you definitely lose some, like a game like that so heavily relies on the ambience and the atmosphere of the story, like of the backdrop of everybody, being in character the whole time. It's almost like you're at a play backstage and you see everybody acting out a character on their cell phones. It's like kind of hard to like get into it, even though they're dressed in costume. They're dressed like characters from the game. They're not acting like that at all. They're acting like me. And I'm seeing a bunch of other people that I feel a bit claustrophobic, really.
It's almost if you like follow like a really popular TV show and you're really into it, and then like the actor does something really stupid on Twitter or something. You're like, oh, that ruined it. Like,
yeah, maybe.
I guess it's the same kind of metaphor,
really,
maybe.
For me, that analogy doesn't work. But I would say if I was going to try to make that analogy work for me, I would say it's going to be kind of like your favorite actor, like you have a favorite show, and when they stop at like all your like instead of having a script, they don't have a script and they just all like are on there like just sitting on a couch or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to explain it because you're used to like characters saying like the blacksmith being the blacksmith and people being in positions, and I know they have NPCs, like they had NPCs in that game, but all the other people running around ruined it. Maybe I don't know how to make this analogy work because it's like in TV you're sort of like you're not a participant, right? You're like a third party.
Yeah.
But in this game, you're like an active participant, but you're just sharing it with other active participants that ruin it.
Yeah. So it's like the video game is even more so that would ruin it for you than the television.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to act with them. It's like if you were an actor and like your other actors weren't doing their job properly, and you're trying to be in character and they're not.
You know what would be cool? I just had an idea. Maybe not. But I was thinking, oh, what kind of game would this be actually cool in? I was thinking, oh, what if they had some, like, prison game where you were, like, in prison with a bunch of other prisoners?
People being, like, all crazy and stuff.
Yeah, like, then it would be, I don't know, it wouldn't seem, like, out of place.
Maybe an insane asylum might be more of, like, the internet.
But, like, insane asylum, but think about this game. Imagine a game that was, like, a prison game where... Let's not do the cliche where, like, oh, you're wrongly convicted of your brother's wife's killing or some dumb shit. But, like, you're just, like, a legit scumbag and you're in jail and you're trying to escape. Or, like, let's say, like, you're locked up for some dumb shit and then, like, a natural disaster hits or, like, the Christian apocalypse happens. And, you know, like, everything goes to chaos, and then you got, like, you're in with all these other prisoners, and then it's, like, some prisoners are just, like, trying to take it over because they think the power is going to come back on. Other people are, like, your cellmate is, like, this scientist who's like, oh, yo, no, I can tell everything's fucked up because you see these atmosphere, you can see, like, he knows for whatever reason that, everything is fucked, and the COs and the guard people aren't coming back.
Yeah.
So you have this dynamic where you got to, like, escape the prison, and then, you know, you can, like, go into this apocalyptic world afterwards, which would be pretty cool.
That would be cool. I was thinking...
So go make that game, somebody!
I was thinking a game maybe where you're kind of just in a prison with a bunch of other people who are online, and you kind of just go through, like, the daily prison tasks, and they're, like, there's actual guards. And if, like, say...
just take it there to that ultimate simulation.
Yeah, so someone else online starts, like, messing around, and then he, like, ruins it for everyone. It's, like, locked down, and you're all just trapped in your cells for, like, half an hour.
Prison game would be fun. Think about that in a way. You just gotta, like, make sure, sit down, get your meal tray without getting assaulted, try not to get raped in the shower.
But you could, like, go try and assault people, then the guards will chase you. And
maybe you rape in the shower, and that's, like, part of getting points. I don't know.
Whoa.
Making shanks and just stabbing people.
Yeah, trying to, like, escape and stuff.
Joining gangs.
It'd be a cool game.
It'd be a really cool game. But that'd be like, now you're glorifying jail! Video game violence. That's my, like, middle-aged... I was gonna say housewife, but I know maybe that's misogynistic.
Just a mom with 2 teenage boys.
Or a dad with 2 teenage...
You're right.
2 teenage boys, also. But yeah, so anyways, prison game. Go make it and give me money. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I'll buy a Tesla because that's my favorite. So if anybody wants to start a GoFundMe
This podcast is sponsored by Tesla.
Elon Musk personally reached out and said that he's okay with that.
In other news.
Other news?
PUBG Corp, formerly known as
we should call this the PUBG Podcast.
PUBG Podcast.
Formerly known as the Gra Podcast.
They're suing Epic Games over Fortnite. Finally, I don't know. There was talk that they were going to sue them for a long time. If you don't know, it's
better ask somebody.
Basically, PUBG was the #1 game on Steam. It was breaking records with 3.2 million concurrent players at their height of popularity, and their player base has dropped by about double to 1.5 million players due to the rise of Fortnite, which has now surpassed them with 3.4 and broke their record for most players concurrently with over 40 million players on Fortnite, which is a lot.
Yeah.
So it got to the point now that in Korea, South Korea, PUBG Corp through a court in South Korea, they're suing Fortnite over saying that they stole their user interface for Fortnite and stuff, and the Epic Games is saying our user interface is different enough, like it's all cartoony and not the same, that they're saying that obviously they shouldn't be sued over it. So
yeah, I got a tough time. I like PUBG better, but I have a tough time siding with them on that because they don't own the battle royale format. I would say it was a scummy thing to do. That's just, I mean, can you sue someone for doing something scummy by jumping off your hype train?
Yeah.
And releasing your game sooner? I don't know. Make a better game. I think PUBG is the better game. I think Fortnite is too cartoony. I think it is takeaway. Like, I don't...
Fortnite reaches more people because it's more because it's more cartoony, you're not going to have the same hardcore, real life simulation players that you have in PUBG because they like that because it's realistic.
It's so sick, man. It's amazing.
Exactly. But Fortnite it's broader. Like, there's more kids playing Fortnite. It's more everyone friendly, you know? so that's why they have more reach. But yeah, I agree that technically, I don't think they could sue them because it's not like they copyrighted the Battle Royale format. It's just that they did it first and it was huge, and then all these other games, like Fortnite's not the only other game with Battle Royale. There's lots of them, but because they're doing so well, that's why PUBG's trying to sue them.
Yeah, they stole their thunder.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, even Fortnite, when they first were becoming popular, they said that they were thanking PUBG for the inspiration, and PUBG was just like, we don't want your thanks.
We don't want your thanks. Stop trying to take our thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, I don't know. I don't think that they're gonna win in court, but who knows what. Both these companies have a lot of money, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, they're gonna have to prove intent and a bunch of other things, so it's gonna be difficult. It's a waste of money.
Yeah, especially if PUBG loses in court, they're wasting even more money, and they're mad because they're losing money right now off that. So it's might be really detrimental. Another thing that I wanted to stem off that was: are we getting away from paid DLC and going more toward like free games? PUBG's a paid game, but Fortnite is free to play. And right now, Fortnite is surpassing PUBG in revenue that they make.
Yeah, but how are they doing that on a free game? Think about that.
They're doing it through microtransactions.
Yeah.
You can buy skins. And with 40 million players, wow, those very few players actually do spend a lot of money. It adds up, right?
Huh.
So, should games...
So they're not selling they're not selling your data then? Because that's what I think. I think that they're probably selling your data. That terms and service shit you're clicking on is like, oh yeah, but by the way, we're gonna like sell all your cookie history on your browser to friggin' some stupid company so they can sell you whatever. Because that's how like people make money, man. It's like if on a free thing, you're making money through advertisers and selling people's data.
Yeah.
It's third-party data, right? I don't know. But yeah, maybe microtransactions, but probably some of the third-party shit too. So
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because I don't know. You'd have to read like their terms of services, I guess, and go through the.
Yeah, man, my friggin' calculator on my phone wants access to my friggin' camera. Like I don't understand. Everybody wants to like violate your rights so hard.
Yeah, with microtransactions, recently, all these games had loot boxes. The whole Star Wars. Battlefront.
Wars.
Sorry, I'm trying to think what I'm saying.
He's thinking as he's talking.
The whole Star Wars Battlefront debacle kind of changed the industry because, as we discussed on the podcast before, with the gaming industry, the gaming commission in Belgium, Belgium.
It's next to Belgium, guys.
They
like ours. They put an R in. They're like, we want to be Belgium, not Belgium, you fucks. You frucks.
Frux.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go with it. I'm going with it.
Anyway, they said that those loot boxes were gambling, which...
Yeah. So they outlawed it.
So now all these game companies are going away from the DLC, and they're giving more free content, which I don't know if that's going to hurt, or...
Man, nobody's in this business for charity. I don't care about free DLC you're having to pay for. We've covered this before. I don't care about paying for a game that's going to be expanded. What I don't want to do is have to pay to win. So there's a pretty clear difference for me. It doesn't seem like it's a gray area. If I can pay to have better guns and shit, that's not cool. But if I'm just going to pay to have a game expanded, to have another couple maps and some new guns that we all can play on no matter what, that's what's cool. But that other shit can, I'm not about that.
And the thing with Star Wars was you could pay to get the better guns. Same with one of the recent Call of Duty games, you could pay to get better guns.
Well, it's not just that, because you can unlock them, but the thing about Star Wars in particular was that the amount of time you'd have to play to unlock all the guns was not proportionate to being able to buy them, so it was strongly incentivized to pay for them, because you would have to pay friggin' 80 hours to level up once it was some ridiculous amount where it was like, oh yeah, no one's gonna do that. Yeah. I mean, they're gonna do it, but the odds are that
those people who are actually playing it
grinding it out.
Are grinding it out. I would think they're probably just guys who are just playing the game.
They're mad. Those motherfuckers are mad about all the people buying shit. You bought that, didn't you,
Yeah.
scumbag?
I think
played 85 hours.
And one of the big things, one of the reasons it made headlines was one of the characters that everyone was buying was Darth Vader, and it was like, you have to play for 100 hours to unlock Darth Vader or you buy him, and he's like super overpowered in the game, so if you pay for him, he can wreck everybody.
Man, they need to get people who have vision to make games. Not this. I feel like it's so saturated right now. I think there's like a bit of something that's been lost with where games are supposed to actually be fun to play, and like, I don't know. It's becoming about other things.
Yeah. Well, every game now has loot boxes. And they're starting to drive me crazy just because, like, it's okay if you don't really care about loot boxes. Like in Rainbow Six, the loot box, I can get like a new skin for my gun or a new skin. I don't care either way if I get one or not. But there's people who spend money on loot boxes and say they spend like $100 trying to get whatever skin or whatever they want, and it doesn't come up. It is kind of like gambling, because you can pay all this money and still not get what you want. Whereas if they just said, you can buy the skin for this price, buy this for this price, then you don't have to do the gambling part.
Yeah. I think they're reaching with that whole thing, to be honest with you. I mean, like, everything is gambling then. You might buy a bag of apples and get, a couple bad apples in there. I don't know. I mean, everything is, like, at what point do you say, like, life isn't gambling with everything you do? So, I don't know. Is it gambling? Are you betting money to win money? No, you're not. So, it's not fucking gambling then. I mean, not just because it's not money, but it's like, it's not. You're paying, it's chance, right? And you could say that chance is gaming, but it's not. I don't think it is, man. I think there's a difference between, like, gambling, and even in gambling, there's different types of gambling. Poker's a different type of gambling than friggin' slot machines.
Yep.
Right?
Takes skill, yeah.
Roulette is different than backgammon. Backgammon is different from, like, they're all different. They require different skill sets, man. You can be actually good at blackjack, believe it or not. You can be good at poker. Everybody knows that now because of tournaments, and everybody thinks they're fucking amazing at poker. I'm real good at poker. Yeah, motherfucker, you're not.
Yeah, because, like, poker, especially,
it's a game. It's not a game. It's a game of skill, right?
Especially not online. There's either you can look at someone, tell if they're lying just by their body language and stuff. If you're like really good at reading that, right?
Sort of, yeah. You can. I mean, yeah. That's if you're good at reading it. Yeah, you can definitely do that. But I mean, you can play your own card. Like, it's regardless. It's calling something gambling is like gambling. They're using gambling like fucking Republicans and conservatives use the word terrorism. Anything they don't like, anything they want to control, it's fucking terrorism. Oh, it's gambling. Oh, loot boxes are gambling. Is it though? Is it? Mm-hmm. I don't think it is. Oh, well, you pay this and then you can get a random thing. Well, as long as it's random, what's the problem? We don't want kids to gamble. Oh, you mean like the lottery that everybody fucking buys at the goddamn convenience store? You don't want, like, I don't understand where you're trying to draw a line. It's like, oh, they're going to be older to do that. Well, you think the people that are doing it now weren't exposed to gambling when they were young?
And technically, if you're actually paying money for these loot boxes, then I guess in the terms of service, I'm sure if you have your credit card set up to the thing, you're supposed to be over 18 anyway. So technically, the parents should be watching if the kids are spending their money on like credit cards, right? So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It just the whole thing seems like a cop out to me. It seems a little bit.
Well, whether or not it's is a cop out. A lot of gaming companies are getting rid of like those parts of the games. Like Battlefield, the new game's not even going to have a season pass. It's going to be all free to play maps and stuff. So something changed in the industry where they're trying to give you more content for free, which might hurt. Well,
of course it is, man.
Yeah.
How's that going to help? It's not going to help. It's going to make things worse because there's not more, like, where are they going to get more money coming from? Well, we're not going to do this now, so what does that mean? Mm-hmm. We have to rely totally on game sales, and what does that mean? Well, we have to make a game that has to sell 100 million copies. So what does that mean? It means that they, make games that are just general appeals. They make Disney games, right? Like Disney movies that are just rated G for everybody. Playing with grandma. Okay, cool, but I like hardcore shooters, and other people don't like them, and like I feel like this is only going to drive games to be more blanket, more I want to say more bigger, but that's not a good sentence.
More mediocre.
Well, it's just going to be like more generalized, right? It's
Yeah.
just going to be a game that's going to cater to, you know, the mass audiences, as opposed to making a game that, you know, people that want like me want to play.
Yeah, and that's kind of like Fortnite, how that game's made for the mass audience and it's super popular. I don't know. If games like that keep getting as big, then maybe all the games will start going more generalized.
Well, that's what they're doing, man. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's what happened with Call of Duty. Call of Duty did that, man. Call of Duty made everybody else. They changed the shit, man.
Yeah. The original, like, way before Modern Warfare and stuff, the original Call of Duty games were known for being a really hard shooter. Like, you get in and you get wrecked by people, and then the learning curve, they kind of slowly flatten it out.
Oh, yeah, they flattened it out big time with all the perks and everything. It's just not fun for me, so I don't know. But a lot of people like it because they get serotonin release in their brain. When they get a couple kill streaks, they feel like they're somebody, and that's it. Games I like to play kick you in the face and make you feel shitty about yourself when you die.
Rainbow Six and PUBG, very non-forgiving games.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyways, what else you got on there on your phone you keep looking at?
Hey, I have an update from, might be 2 podcasts ago. We mentioned Rage 2 coming out, and we talked about Bethesda and how the original Rage game, people were saying the storyline wasn't good, and I mentioned how it was made by Bethesda, and you said maybe they didn't give it a shot. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah.
So, I realized that the game is actually published by Bethesda, but it wasn't developed by Bethesda Studios. It was developed by ID Software, who made Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein.
Okay.
So those games aren't known for their storylines. They're like more just shooters, right?
Yeah.
So that's why Rage, people probably saw Bethesda publish it and they were thinking like this big storyline, but it actually was developed by the guys who made Doom and Quake.
Yeah, that's what I remember thinking.
Which makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, everybody was expecting. I'm not gonna lie. When I hear a Bethesda game, I think there's gonna be some cool ass storyline. It's gonna be some epic fucking thing. That's good for their brand, but I guess not great for trying to like do new shit.
Yeah, and they publish other developers' games, and that's where the confusion was. I thought I brought that up in case someone listened to the other podcast and is like, they're wrong.
What else you got there, phone boy?
I think it might be time for a top 5.
Oh shit! Cue the music.
This is the Snootyghost Top 5.
So we have top 5 most viewed video game trailers.
Yeah, this is stupid. We're doing it though.
We're doing it.
Yeah, top 5 most viewed video game trailers. Ooh, you guys are so excited for this. Always wanted to know, didn't you? Well, guess what? We're
Here
gonna
it is.
fucking tell you. At number 5. Oh, I didn't need to say that.
No, but it's okay.
Number 5.
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. When did that come out, Ghost?
That came out May 2nd, 2016. And it has 40 million views. What?
It's a lot of views.
40 million views, that's a million 40 times over.
Whoa.
See that, guys? I'm good at math.
Yeah.
Everybody knows math.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Fortnite, which, not surprised it's up there, seeing it's one of the biggest games right now.
Fortnite.
When did that come out?
September 20th, 2017. We didn't go back and forth. How many views you got there?
How many views you got there? Sorry, I'm trying to squint. I'm sitting far away from the
yeah.
thing.
Oh,
44.5 million views.
Whoa.
There we go. I put on my reading glasses.
How many more of that is than the other one?
That's That's 500,000 more.
No, it isn't. It's fucking
it's
4.5 million.
Hey, don't ask me math questions.
Well, my name's Matt. So
Actually, it's Matt.
it would be. Oh, it is. Damn it! Damn it! That's the 3rd time today. I'm losing it. I can't. Not quick today. Darn it.
I mean, it's Snooty. What are you talking about?
Snooty math. All right.
Number 3.
Pokemon Go came out in September 9th, in September 9th, 2015.
Well, you're not wrong. It was in the day of September 9th.
Yep, and that had 44.8 million views.
So how many more than that is 40.5? That's
A bunch.
300,000. You math experts out there.
Yeah.
Wait, they already knew that. Though. For all you other people who aren't math experts, that's 300,000 more. Boom.
Number 2.
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds.
It's interesting. This one and the one before were both mobile games. I didn't even know they had trailers for these when they came out.
Oh, they did. I don't know. They probably did.
Well, it did. This one had 44.9 million views in 2009.
December 1st, 2009. I feel like, yeah, so 44.9 is, yeah, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, boo.
Number 1.
Battlefield 1 came out May 6, 2016 with 58 million views.
That's crazy. That's a lot of views.
It is a lot of
that
views.
top 5 sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
Do we have a better one for them, Ghost?
No. Alright. Top 5 highest paid CEOs in the gaming biz.
What?
I tried to cool it up by talking it cool, baby.
Yeah, biz.
What?
Too cool to say the full word.
Yeah, I did cool it up there. I'm down with the hip teenagers.
Yeah.
Which sounds illegal, actually.
Number 5.
EA Sports. Dude's name's Larry Probst.
Well, EA, which has games with EA Sports, but EA all the games.
Yeah, what the hell? I don't know what I'm saying. I was trying to think of something cool to say, and then I just messed it all up. So makes this guy's number 5 on the list. He's basically broke compared to these other 4 assholes. They're all men, by the way.
Oh.
Let's a women-run show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take that. So this cat makes $690,000 a year with a bonus of $1.1 million. So it's weird when your bonus is
more
it's
than
like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's well, it's not almost double, but it is almost double. It's sort of like
Pretty nice bonus.
pretty nice.
So that means he probably. Do you pay more taxes on a bonus? I think you might.
That's the wrong guy about that shit.
True.
Number 4.
Ubisoft Yves Guillemot. Guillemot?
Guillemot. It might be a few.
Guillemot.
Is that a French
Hey,
name?
Gilly.
In Ubisoft Montreal.
They call him Gilly.
Gills.
This cat makes $2.23 million a year. These are all Canadian dollars, by the way.
Oh
Not
yeah.
some bullshit ass pesos or some shit.
Would sound like a lot more if it was pesos, probably.
No, but it sounds like less.
But like the number would
If you told me 2.7 million pesos, I'd be like,
No.
oh man, that's some bullshit.
I was
That's like
thinking, yeah, but if you
that's like
converted it, it'd be like 10 million
half a goat.
pesos or whatever.
What? Yeah, but that's they would sound like more if I converted it.
Yeah, that's right. You're right the first time. I was wrong.
Take that, everybody.
Number 3.
Nintendo's Satoru Iwata? IQWATA? I do not know how to pronounce that.
Iwata.
Iwata. He makes 2.7 million Canadian annually.
Yeah.
Which, it's a lot of money, but it's Nintendo, so...
Is anybody impressed though? Does anybody care about this list? They probably don't. I hate it. But we're gonna finish it through.
We're gonna
we persevere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start this next one though because I feel like you do it the same way. I know how you're gonna do it. I'm gonna do my impression of Snooty reading off.
Number 2.
Sega Osamu Satomi 6.3 million. And
Boom!
oh yeah, he just did a good impression of me there. Damn, roasted. That's not bad though. That's a big jump up.
Yeah. Sega too, because when I
Sega's
think of Sega, there's not a Sega console that's out right now. Like
That's
a
ironic
new
in a
Sega
way because
console.
Sega console's down, but all these other console people here. Well, no, wait a minute. Ubisoft on console people.
Yeah, okay.
I was not comparing.
So
to
I guess
Nintendo.
Sega,
But how does that Sega dude make more than the Nintendo guy?
right? What,
I
like,
figure like that'd be like backwards.
are those Sonic games really doing that well? Because I think everyone says they hate them.
Yeah, but there's like Sega publishes so many games.
That's true.
You got your. I was making a joke face on. I know. Okay.
Number 1.
Sony. Howard Stringer.
Which one it is?
Makes a
We
lot of
got
money.
Sony and Howard Stringer are bringing it up with $11.6 million.
That's a big jump. But it's
Well, like you're
Sony.
saying, I was reaching with my game show voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a big jump.
That's a big reach. You're reaching there, bud. Trying to turn it on like you can do it and you can't. It's
Howard Stringer. So
Howard Stringer
this
sounds
would
like Howard
just be
Stern.
Sony's video game
Oh, Howard. Where's Mira?
sector.
Mira.
Mira.
Mira. Where's the sword? Pass the sword, Mira. Oh, where's Howard? Oh, is Howard coming home? I don't know. That's all I got. I can edit that out if you want.
No, it's okay. Keep it in.
We're
Mira.
keeping it in. Alright, so that's it for the dirty top 5s today. 2 top 5s that were very mediocre, but I don't know.
Give us your suggestions if you think they are.
Yeah, it's your damn
crap.
fault for not giving us suggestions for this week. How about that shit?
Now you're making us think on the top of our heads.
Yeah. Yeah. How dare you?
We don't have to do work on this podcast.
Yeah, really. We're trying to wing it. We're trying to wing it from the hip. Shoot from the hip. Alright, what else you got on your phone there, phone boy?
I have some more things.
He's got things on his phone.
I have at least one more thing.
Alright.
So let's talk a little bit about.
What? What?
Let's talk a little bit about teen pregnancy.
Yeah, what? What you should do if a stranger tries to lure you into their car. First off, ask them if they know the safe word. Is this a safe word? Probably not safe word, eh? That sounds like some other shit.
The safe word is help, people. You yell it as loud as you can.
Yeah.
Well, if you're already in the van, I don't know.
But if you got in the van, at that point, there's nothing anyone can do. Sorry to be so. If you're in a van listening to this right now and you've just been kidnapped, I'm sorry to be a pessimist.
And
we'll find you.
and tell the
Don't
guy that
worry.
kidnapped you-
We're all looking for you.
Tell the guy that kidnapped you he has good taste in podcasts. I assume you're not listening with
Yeah,
your
but like,
stuff.
but
Yes,
is
you
that
don't
our
play-
one listener? Or is this freaking serial killer who kidnaps kids? Or whatever? I don't know. Anyways, I hope that's not you. Stop serial killing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play some Grand Theft Auto. And, like, get that out of your system.
No, don't play video games, because then it'll be like, oh, video games caused it. It'll be
Oh,
like the
right.
correlation, man. The correlation. We gotta steer away. Go and play basketball.
What,
Go play outside. And blame it on the fresh air.
what I was going to say was esports.
Let's talk a little bit about esports, everybody.
About
Your
esports.
body's gonna go through some changes.
So I was just thinking, a lot of games now are coming out really underfunded or undercomplete. Games like The Division or how...
Yeah.
So, if you're trying to develop a game to be an esport, which recently is the guy who created the Unreal Tournament games, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was coming out with a game called Lawbreakers, and he made it specifically to be an esport, and he was bragging about how it was going to be the best game ever, and it flopped. No one bought it. It was a horrible game, and it was all buggy and had horrible game mechanics. But if you're making these games to be sports don't come around all the time. It's not like every day there's a new sport like basketball or hockey, right?
Yeah.
Because they're hard to like perfect to be.
Yeah, look at MMA. Mixed martial arts took a long time to get going.
Exactly, and they make changes very, very slowly to these sports, to the rules, in order to keep them fair and sound, right?
Yeah.
So for esports and games that get popular really fast, and like look at Overwatch and Rainbow Six, these games don't change very slowly. They change drastically. So one season of Rainbow Six could play out completely different than the season before because they change all these mechanics. They nerf people's guns or
Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
So my question to you, Ghost, I guess, is just is esports really viable as a sport? They want to make esports part of the Olympics. How can you have a sport when there's so many different technical issues and so many different problems with balancing?
Well, there is no control, right? There is no, like, when you play a sport in the real world, you have the control of the universe, right? Where everything is the same all the time. Gravity's
physics,
the same
yeah.
in hockey, it's the same in basketball, it's the same in football, all that shit, inertia, all that stuff is the same. Like, That's why sports are interesting, because we all have the same, universal laws of physics we have to play with.
Yeah.
In gaming, you're right. It does change from year to year, and it does progress. How do you make a sport out of that? I don't know. I think what you do is you take all the fuzzies away. I think you make a game that's simply hand-eye coordination with a little thing going across the screen, almost like a brain challenge. How fast can you react? Or how many complex can you remember? How can you that's one aspect of it. You have to have a whole E-Olympics then. You have to have different reflex guys. You have to have guys that can plot and plan and play other people. You have to have all these different things. I always thought it would be cool to have a game that was took the concept of shooting people and us running around with guns, like the murderous aspect, but took it back a step and sort of made it just about, it doesn't have to be human people shooting guns. It could be blobs going around, circles going around, shooting squares, or connecting squares in some weird way, trying to play tag with whatever. There's a way you can accomplish those same game mechanics.
Just to judge your reflexes and stuff, right?
Well, and not just that, but you're planning. When you play another shooter and you're playing someone, someone's on the other side and you're shooting each other. That doesn't have to be with guns and human bodies, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That type of gaming where I'm playing you and you're we're competing against each other, that mind game we're playing against each other, can be accomplished with things that aren't violence per se. Right? That's what I'm saying. You would have to break it down to such a base level that would be a constant, right? That all gaming physics would have to be based off.
Because it would be kind of like how all sports and outside of gaming use real physics, whereas every game would have to be the same physics engine.
Exactly. You'd have to have the same baseline for everything, so you could actually gauge, right? Because you can't compare a Doom player or somebody who's really good at Donkey Kong back in the 80s on arcade versus somebody who's on, a Halo team playing esports for $100,000 a year. Those are very different animals. Also, same types of brains, same type of starting point. That guy who played Donkey Kong with that same sort of flow state in mind and ability to intelligence could have been great at anything, likely. That's how the brains are. We're malleable, and that's, it just depends on what you're exposed to. But that's the thing. That's the same thing. That's where I worry about technology going too. When technology moves so much faster than the generations, right? So by the time I'm a little bit older, the technology is going to pass me by, and I'm wondering at what point do we get to a point where being 30 years old, you might as well be dead because you don't understand the technology that's come out.
Yeah, because younger and younger kids are doing crazier.
Well, just the technology is moving so much faster, right? So so we might be super used to cell phones in this world, right? But something could change really, really fast, right? And all the kids and everybody under 25 is going to be able to adapt to it. Like how elderly people are trying to adapt to cell phones, right?
Exactly, yeah.
They're, oh my God, everything's changing at the end of my life. Oh, I don't know. Oh, my grandson. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I said grandson, but anyways. Being able to adapt to technology, I'm wondering when we get to a point where that doesn't just happen at the end of some old person's life, where the technology changes at the end, where it changes every couple of years, and we can't even keep up with the adaptations anymore because it's just such a drastic, sharp change to everyday life, where everything falls out of synchronicity, where everything, because that can happen, right? Especially when you have all of a sudden these individual pockets of people that have different levels of understanding of the world. So what I mean to say is, before technology, everybody had a general same understanding of all the physics and everything that was possible around them. But imagine you took 4 or 5 different people, all peppered through history, put them in a room with us. We would all have, there would be no synchronicity there. We couldn't even talk to each other because we understand cell phones, technology, hypercars and shit. This guy's thinking about riding on the back of a horse, trying to do some other shit, you know what I mean? There's no, and at what point, that's an extreme example of trying to communicate to someone who has no relation of our world. At what point does technology become so encompassing? What if tomorrow there's VR goes to the next level? So so all of a sudden everybody under 10 years old right now has VR. How are we going to relate to them in 15 years when they've grown up in VR and we grew up analog? And how are they going to relate to the next generation of people that are totally VR their entire life? It becomes really weird all of a sudden when you start fucking with people's mind states and daily thing, right? And I think we're going in that direction. Like this, it's happening, like whether we like it or not, and it's on a really minute scale right now with just old people and cell phones trying to adapt, and everything's moving so fast now. Old people 100 years ago didn't have to deal with that as much. Maybe 100 years ago isn't a great example because of electricity, but we'll say 500 years ago, old people like there wasn't that much change generation to generation. There was like you could teach your son something, and not too long you're not gonna be able to teach your son shit, son. Your son's gonna be teaching you like real fast. Like even now, what can a baby boomer or somebody who was like 50 who didn't take up the cell phone actually teach their son? They have such a different world. Your son's gonna want to play video games and be on a tablet. They don't know anything about computers. They can't even help their kid, really. I don't understand how to use Microsoft Word. It's like, I don't know. That's a Facebook. Like they don't know. And that you can't pass lessons that you've learned on to your kid because they don't apply to his world anymore. Right? Like that's a long rant, but I really wanted to encapsulate the whole thing because this video game thing is a really big part of where we're going as a friggin' species. And it's all been video games, but it's fun and dandy. But as we get into VR, as we get into simulation experiences, because people want sex robots, because people want all these things and be able to control their world completely, it's inevitable that we get to the 1984 sort of Matrix type of state where everybody's in a simulation.
Yeah.
And the whole simulation theory that people say we're in right now, which I don't believe, but I mean we're all sort of headed towards one really specific sort of goal here, and I don't know where it ends. You're looking at me right now like shut the fuck up.
So what you're saying is it's going to be hard to make esports in the Olympics.
Well, not only that, but real sports in real life, because there's going to be gene doping next.
That's true.
So gene doping is like they can go with into your chromosomes with splicer. What is it called?
Splicer, I believe.
No.
A
CRISPR.
gene? Oh.
CRISPR. Boom. And they splice your genes open, but they can you can design designer babies, and not just to look a certain way, but to perform. You can give them fast twitch muscle fibers and give them. So in the future, you won't even be able to compete in sports unless you're already pre-genetically made for it. But humans aren't going to be the same thing as other people. Basketball players, football players, they're going to be
designed to be like that. Yeah.
Yes, they're going to be designed by teams and live in sponsored camps to play sports or something. Like I could see that going that way. Like, oh, we got this crop of coming up in there. Yeah, we give them normal lives. They go to school. They're just going to be football players. And imagine the stories of the ones who don't make it what we're supposed to be.
Or the ones who don't even want to be it. Like, because people have free will. What if I was designed to be this, but I don't want to be? Then that's like a whole other thing.
Oh, but they'll have the psychological. Yeah, right. But I think they'll have the psychological part of maybe they'll give them football-shaped fucking toys as a baby, you know what I mean? Or football shaped.
There's some crazy dystopian movie in there where there's some guy wakes up one day realizing my life is a lie. What am I doing?
Yeah, I didn't want to play football. There's no free will.
Yeah.
Sam Harris would be like, there's no free will anyways. Fuck that guy. He's not even as smart. Dumbass Sam Harris. Yeah, but anyways, so gene doping could be a thing. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where video games ends up, but I'd really like to see where video games are going to be in 100 years. I think they'll look back and be like, people used to do this thing and just play video games. It's all started with a game.
I don't think it would ever be and I think in the future, obviously, they'll look back and be like, they actually had to interact something physically, right? Because it'd be all in your head or something,
Yeah, because this technology, as it progresses, is not just going to apply to video games. It's going to apply to
everything. Yeah.
VR. You're going to be able to do remote surgeries. You're going to be able to go in someone's house and see their work and do there's.
It's already getting to that point.
100%. So, I don't know where all this shit goes, but gaming started it.
Yeah.
For sure. So, and we talked about this before. At what point do the games become so real where you get post-traumatic stress disorder?
Yeah.
From shooting people. How real are you going to make the game so it's his brain splattered all over, he's stepping on dead bodies.
It'd be interesting to see if, I bet you that's already happened somewhere. There's probably someone who did play something and maybe it didn't give him PTSD, maybe helped trigger his PTSD he already had and made it worse or something. Well,
that's definitely happened, especially with games in the last 10 years that the sound design is so accurate. There's some people who can't play those at all because, I remember playing Grob with somebody back in the day, and he was 12 hours ago or 24 hours ago. He said it in hours, I don't remember. He's maybe he was 18. But he was 18 hours ago, I was dumping an M24 machine gun into something off of, he was in war, He's like 24, like not even hours ago. He's on sabbatical leave because they give you like a leave. Like after you leave, you go to like 3 days on this like little thing before you go back home. Mm-hmm. So he was just playing the Xbox. I was like, 18 hours ago, I was like dumping a fucking heavy machine gun into like some shack.
Wow.
And now he's just playing Ghost Recon and like. That was a weird moment. I always remembered it. Not because I was like, I'm grateful I don't have to be in war and thank you for your service. Like, fuck that. I was just saying, like, man, the experience of, in general, of just going from that to, like, because that never happened, right? Like, back in the day. Like, if you were in war, you were, like, traveling months, walking, marching far. You never, like, were back in the comfort of your home away from war playing or doing anything that quickly afterwards. It's, like, weird that... The whole thing is weird. So, I don't even know why I was talking about that.
Just taking video games and reality and how they're going to be meshed together.
Yeah, I guess that's probably enough of all that, actually. To be honest with you. I think I'd probably tired everybody out with my rants.
You guys awake over there?
You guys awake! Wake up!
Wake up and give this podcast a like.
Yeah, so was that it? You don't have Snooty doesn't have his phone out anymore.
I do have a fault. Well, I don't know. I can go back to what I was saying about esports and throw in one final thing since you called me out on it.
What is it?
So I was saying how it's hard to make esports regulated because all this stuff you can glitch and everything.
There's no baseline,
Yeah, so it's easy to cheat. And one thing, the game For Honor that came out a year ago, Ubisoft was really trying to make that an esport. But the problem is the game had a lot of bugs. And they had a mini competition for like $100 or $10,000 or something, and they had all these gamers come in and they were playing a For Honor like round robin tournament, and the guy that won, they went to give him his like big check and like, oh, you won everything, and he admitted in front of everyone, he's like, oh yeah, I cheated, I totally glitched out like everybody, and the game designer looked at him and he was like, oh, like looked down, he's like, oh well. You still won, but maybe you should change up your game style, ha ha. And like, with video games, unlike in basketball, like where someone gets a foul, you push someone. It's sometimes hard to see, even the people who made the game, if the person's cheating.
Yeah, I mean the argument there, the analogy or the comparison there, I would say, I guess you would compare glitching in a video game to using performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah,
right?
You can't see it. Oh yeah, that's a way better analogy. So,
but yeah,
I guess that happens. So it's just one of the things you have to deal with. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I know that it's going to be very difficult until everybody has the exact same baseline for reality to make that, right? So all the games have the same engine or have the same sort of user interface. So, like, you can't compete. Like, somebody gets really hyper good at a game, like, I was at Ghost Recon. What am I doing with those skills? Like, 10 years after the game, nobody stops playing the game, I still have all those skills, still one of the best players in the world, but who gives a shit? No one plays the game anymore. It's like lost. It's nothing. It's a waste of time in a way. You translate them to other games, I guess, but then you're like...
Depends. Waste of time.
It's like, imagine they change the game of basketball every 10 years. You know? Just like, oh shit, like, how do you compare players from different eras then? How would you... If they change the game of basketball every 10 years, how would you... compare? It's like, oh, Will Chamberlain had 100 points in a game. Yeah, but the fucking net was 4 feet high.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's big difference from Michael Jordan when it was 12 feet high and he scored 80 points. Which was better? Whoa, it was easier when he had on. Like, it becomes, there's no, you're not comparing apples to apples anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I guess that's a good place to sum all that up with. Yeah, he's looking at me like he wants me to say some more stuff. I'll say stuff all day. I'll say a bunch of shit that doesn't make sense. Banana piano.
Whoa! You heard it here first.
Banana
piano.
Oh, shit. Banana bananas.
International Gamer... Oh, not International Gamers Union.
What?
Product of the International Gamers Union.
Sponsored by, brought to you by, all those work.
The Snootyghost podcast.
No, motherfucker. You gotta finish it. Brought to you by the International Gamers Union.
Is...
Yeah, wait.
The Snootyghost podcast.
Wait, we should start up. It's the Snootyghost podcast brought to you by...
the International Gamers Union.
Which is international, which is a union, and it's full of gamers. So
there you go.
I expect you to like jump on and be like, yeah!
Google it!
Yeah, Google it! Yeah, I feel awkward about our segue. Let's make it worse. Bye!
Bye.
Yeah. Thought we were gone. We're still here.
The Snootyghost podcast brought to you by the International Gamers Union.
You've reached a checkpoint.